Before I move on a specific issues, I'd like to take this opportunity to express my deepest condolences to the people and government of Iraq, and particularly those members of the families affected by a terrorist attack yesterday in Iskandaria, south of Baghdad. They were attacking just the civilian people who were enjoying sports at a football stadium. That means these terrorists, they do not care when and where and whom. This is totally unacceptable and should be defeated in the name of humanity. And I really appreciate the Iraqi government and people, their continuing commitment under the leadership of Prime Minister to fight against extremism and terrorism. Ladies and gentlemen, we have just held constructive talks with His Excellency Prime Minister Haider Abadi and His Excellency the Foreign Minister Ibrahim Al-Jafari, and with the distinguished ministers on the security, political, economic, and social reform, as well as humanitarian and human rights situations in Iraq. I'm also very much happy to be joined by Dr. Yong Kim, World Bank Group President, and also Dr. Ali Ahmed of Islamic Development Bank. This is a joint and combined demonstration of our support for the noble efforts, but sometimes very difficult efforts of Iraqi government in, first of all, securing peace and stability through national reconciliation and socio-economic reforms through inclusive dialogue. I sincerely hope that our visit will continue to generate the strong support from international community. Ladies and gentlemen, I congratulate the Iraqi security forces, the Peshmerga, the Popular Mobilization Forces, and the Sons of Tribes for their recent advances, and I wish them success in the operations to liberate Mosul, Fallujah, and other parts of the country. I salute the Iraqi people for their sacrifices, patience, and resilience in the face of Daesh's murderous campaign, and I offer them my sincere condolences again for the countless lives lost in the past. I reiterate my call on Iraq's regional and international partners to lend their support to the government and people of Iraq in this fight. This support must be provided in full coordination and consultation with the governments of Iraq and with respect for the country's sovereignty and territorial integrity. I remain extremely concerned about the enormous challenges Iraq faces. Daesh has subjected all Iraqis, but particularly minority communities, to murder, abduction, rape, and other sexual violences. By destroying and looting property and places of religious and cultural significance, Daesh are attempting to eradicate the identity and unity of Iraq and its people. Some 3,500 women, mainly Yazidi, remain enslaved and subjected to horrific violations on a daily basis. 10 million people require some form of humanitarian assistance, and 3.3 million are internally displaced. Iraq is among the most deadly countries in the world for civilians. Last year, more than 7,500 people were killed in acts of terrorism, violence, and armed conflict. These challenges can only be met by tackling the root causes of conflict ensuring justice, equality for all in an inclusive state based on democracy, supremacy of the rule of law, and human rights. I appeal to all friends of Iraq to continue their support for stabilization, reconciliation, reconstruction, and demining work, and to the government to accelerate efforts to restore rule of law, including state control over security and weapons. This will allow the safe and voluntary return of displaced people to their homes. National reconciliation is an important part of the strategy to defeat Daesh, who have ruthlessly exploited divisions and targeted the marginalized and disenfranchised. Iraq's political, civil society, community, and tribal leaders and representatives must work together towards inclusive peace and prosperity. Iraq also faces enormous economic challenges, including the falling price of oil, inefficiencies, and corruptions. The international community is ready to offer more support, but Iraqis themselves must implement reforms that will put their country on the road to recovery. These reforms must include measures to empower women and young people and bring greater social cohesion. The United Nations remains steadfast in its support to the government and people of Iraq, and I count on Prime Minister's continuing leadership. And thank you very much. Shukran jazilan.
Shukran.